this business?
I would say go for it. Just start somewhere.
Yeah.
And you'll figure it out along the way. Just meet other people who are doing the same thing that you love to do. Don't be afraid to ask questions when you don't know something.
Right.
The internet is your friend.
Wow.
You definitely want to be familiar with doing research,
Mm-hmm.
Googling,
Mm-hmm.
because you will be expected to be somebody that can, research things and be accurate.
Right.
People are looking to you as that expert,
I was watching a program this weekend, and they were talking about the frustrations of blogs, true journalists, and their frustrations with bloggers who don't verify, who don't confirm. Do you feel that same frustration?
I used to, but that keeps me employed.
Exactly. Amen.
Because I think some people, they figured out what kind of journalist or blogger they want to be.
Okay.
So I don't knock them. Like, if they're like a gossip person,
Mm-hmm.
that's their niche. That's what they do. That's not what I do.
Right.
So I can't really compare myself to them.
Right.
There's room for us all. And I think with the consumer, who's the reader,
Yes.
they are able to pick and choose who they like. You know how you favorite certain websites
Yes,
that you
ma'am.
like, or you bookmark things.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, she loves looking at blogs, a lot of political blogs.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not so much that information isn't researched, but some of those blogs are really good because
Right.
they have citizens
Right.
who actually contribute what they know in
Right.
their hometown
Okay.
to the bigger, scape.
So is that kind of like that iReporter CNN does, sort of like that?
It's like that,
Okay.
In this last campaign, with Obama, it was really driven by a lot of citizen journalism. That was just as important as CNN.
Right, right. So what's in the future for Miss Mildred? What are you doing coming up in the new year?
I am just trying to be the best me that I can be.
Done.
Done. And, I'm going to have a radio show at some point this year.
Okay.
Also, I want to get into documentary and film work. My passion is music, so I'm just going to try to, pull from as many directions as I can to inform people. I'm really big on music education.
Oh, wow.
I really feel like it should still be in schools.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ohio music at that. Ohio is just, if you want to learn about the
Cats
music
don't
industry,
know, Miss Mildred.
you need to live in Ohio. You
Yeah.
need to research Ohio because it's the birthplace of so many firsts.
Right.
Did you all know that Billboard magazine was founded in Cincinnati, Ohio?
I did not know that.
And you know where it was?
No.
5th Street. It was like 5th Street and Opera Place. Opera Place, I don't think that's here anymore. I
Right.
think that got torn down.
Yeah, I don't think that is.
area. But it would have been right around where the square is.
Okay.
Somewhere near there.
Right.
And it was here for a long time. It wasn't like it, was started in like 1920 and then they left that next year. It was like the first publication for the music industry. And it was here. And I think the only reason why it left is because they had other places, like they had flagship offices in New York, Paris, Chicago. They just got bigger, you know, that's all. And when I found that out, I was swelled with pride because that made me feel like, wow, I mean,
Can I say you're my hero, man? Can I say that? Seriously. I'm just listening to you, and I'm just so grateful to have met you. Again, it's like you're my sister from another mister, in that a lot of things that you are saying just resonate true, genuine, like in my gut. And it's things that I'm very proud of Cincinnati, very proud of Cincinnati. And to know that there are others, especially growing up when so many people weren't, and again, it's not exclusive to Cincinnati to kind of not be impressed with your hometown. That's not exclusive.
Well, it's because people don't know. I mean, like, I really took the effort to learn about my city. And I'm kind of a nerd in that respect of wanting people to know.
Right.
Because when I have friends visit me from other places, I literally take them around and show them this is where this used to be, this is what's going on now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good resources online. If you're curious about what's here in the city, you should go to like the Cincinnati Historical Society, go through the Public Library of Cincinnati.
Yes.
They have a lot of great research databases. If you're curious, and especially I'm speaking directly to recording artists.
Yeah.
a lot of recording artists always want to say, oh, I'm going to be the first person to blow up.
Right.
Well, why do you feel that way? You know, think about it. Like, if somebody in New York would have said, I'm going to be the first person to release a hip-hop record, we wouldn't have any hip-hop records.
Right.
You know, it took a movement of people, and it took people paying attention to the movement. And there were, like, when I was doing research, I wrote an essay on Cincinnati hip-hop, and I want to get it published in a book.
Okay.
But one of the things that I found out is we had a scene going on at the same time that all this stuff was going on in New York in the late 70s.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's just that there was nobody covering it.
Right.
And that's why I think I started to take being a journalist more seriously, because I felt like the frustration of trying to do research on the 70s and 80s and finding nothing. You know, I know Jabri Wiseone was the first Billboard charting hip-hop artist here. His song went to #1, The House the Dog Built,
right.
And that came out in 1991. But a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people are still thinking they're going to be the first person to break Billboard.
Right.
And there are so many other people who have already done that maybe didn't even get written about here.
Right.
You know?
Do you find in your experience that those outside of Cincinnati give us a little bit more respect? Do they know this history?
Yes, they do. I have a friend in New York, and he's somewhat of a vinyl enthusiast as well. And he tends to find things, you know, at thrift shops and stuff, and he'll call me up like, hey, Mildred, I found this Mood mixtape from '93. Or I found this B.J. Digby.
Right.
I found King Solomon.
Right.
You know, all these people released 12 inches.
Right.
All these people released cassettes.
Right.
There are so many people. I could probably sit here and name like 30 people just from like the 80s and 90s alone.
Wow.
So these are the things that artists kind of need to be thinking about, and maybe try to friend some of these people and ask them questions.
Man.
Like, how did you get started? What kinds of equipment did you use? Where did you perform?
Right.
Where did they let you perform in Cincinnati?
That's a great question.
Yeah, because there wasn't always places and venues that allowed hip-hop, not even national artists.
Right.
I mean, we had a drought in the 90s where no national acts were really coming here.
I remember that.
And so then people started going to Top Cats. Top Cats was where...
I miss Top Cats.
Yeah, Top Cats was where, you know, you could break a record.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right.
And then we had a lot of... underground artists that would come and tour here that you couldn't see at Bogart's.
Right, right.
Bogart's was also a good place, and in the 80s they had a lot of clubs on Short Vine. I was too young to go to any of them, but
unfortunately, me too.
But I was aware that was like, you know, Bogart's was where they would have parties.
Me too.
Until like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And that was where the hip hop scene was. Everybody hung out on Short Vine.
Right. Oh, Miss Mildred, I could just talk to you all day. I'm serious. You just have so much knowledge. We're coming up. We have another young lady. She won the post contest about what the word Cincinnati's conscience means. And so we're going to have to go. But I want you to be able to let people know, how do they get a hold of you? Where can they find your writing? Where, you know, all that good stuff.
Okay, a lot of the print stuff is not online, so I have to work on getting a website. And if anybody wants to help me with that, you can reach me on Facebook at Mildred C. Fallon. You can follow me at Twitter. My real name is just Mildred Fallon, no spaces.
Okay.
Also, if you want to just go and buy it, it's Wax Poetics.
Okay.
Or Ghetto Blaster Magazine for right now.
Can they get it, you know, locally? Where can they find those magazines? There's a magazine store downtown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fountain News.
Fountain News,
is
that's
the best place I can recommend.
Okay.
Barnes and Nobles.
Okay.
Joseph Beth, those kinds of places.
Okay. It is an extreme pleasure, lady.
Thank you.
We're going to have to get you back. Because it might be nice to even, and we'll talk about this off the air, to have you come back periodically on a regular basis. You are a wealth of knowledge, not only about hip-hop, but about this scene here. More importantly, I think a lot of people need to know the contributions that the city of Cincinnati has made to the overall music experience. And if you would be willing to do that, again, I would be honored. This is Jay All Day. You're listening to Cincinnati's